We're live.
We're live.
Oh man, an accident deleted my Freddy stuff.
No!
Here we go.
Oh,
There
there
we
it is.
go.
It's back. It's
It's
back.
back. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Film Trigger. My name is Stevie Cade, and my man right here, Christopher
Yeah.
Durban of the channel DURBANIA, and we are going to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Now,
Yeah.
why is this so important? Number one, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and we'll dive into those stories a little later. But number two, Durban, you never saw this movie until you watched it for this.
Yeah, I watched it last night because I know we're going to be talking a lot during this, so I
Right.
thought I should at least see it so I know what I'm talking about. And I also watched part 2 because I'm a completionist. I've seen 1. I can't just skip to 3. Now I wish I did.
Well, yes, and we'll dive deeper into that as this movie progresses. If you want to watch this with us, it is on HBO Max. That's what Durban is watching it on right now. I'm watching it on Vudu on my personal library. So please go to HBO Max and start with us. We'll randomly let you know what timestamp we're at and what have you. But without further ado, Durban, are
Yes.
you ready for
I
the
am
intro?
ready.
Let me
Mouse is on the play button.
okay, well let me do the intro first.
Oh, right. Intro.
All right, intro, because Brandon. There we
Wow,
go.
that was awesome.
Oh, man, I have too much fun with this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're at 000.
Yep, I'm at
0.
the zeros. So
All
you
right.
just tell me when. Here we go.
In 3, 2, 1, click.
Clicking. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Your count almost matched up to mine. I'm giving delay leeway for that.
Okay. I see New Line Cinema.
Yes. A Time Warner company. Sleep, those little slices of death. Oh,
Yep.
how I loathe thee.
How I love them. Yes.
Them. Oh, I really just went straight
Yeah,
Shakespeare with
you
it.
went like all Shakespearean with that there. I mean,
Oh, how I love thee. So, like Aaron White chimed in a little earlier on one of the social medias, and he posted this beginning with this music that's playing right now. What music do you hear?
I hear.
Is it just like creepy ambient Freddy music?
Yeah, that's kind of what I hear. It's just creepy, ambient. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Because there's another version that went out in the theaters where Dokken was playing right here.
Where what was playing?
Dokken, the band that did the "And We're the Dream Warriors."
Wow, I'm glad that's not playing here because this is better.
But I think I've seen it. So there's 2 different versions of this opening, not visually but audioly speaking, where they played 2 different scores.
Why would they do that?
To promote the man Dokken. The whole Dokken and Nightmare on Elm Street thing was very cross promoted. Like this whole album, that this song that Dokken did for this movie, and the vinyl is like blood red. They have Freddy on the cover. Like they just did this whole cross promotional thing. And I think once they did that, then they added the music at the beginning. And I know I've seen it, but I never really thought about it until he brought it up. I'm like, wait, which one do I have now? And I have the original one.
Yeah.
But Aaron has the DVD that plays the Dokken beginning. So
really, I would have a hard time with that because maybe it's because this is the only version I've seen, and I think this music is kind of creepy and it starts to set the tone for what I'm going to see. And so to have that'd be totally different.
Yeah, it definitely sets up the ambient vibe of this movie. So if you guys are just joining us, we're watching A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. We are at about 2 minutes and 24, 25, 26 seconds. We just started, so it's never too late. If you join in a little later, just ask us. We'll let you know.
That's right, we will.
So Durban.
Yes.
Overall, what are your thoughts of watching these Freddy movies for the first time?
Well, the first one I thought was kind of funny. The second one never needed to be made ever. And then this one I like a little bit better. When I was watching it, I love this Dream Warrior concept. I love this concept that they all have different dream abilities. but I just wish we spent more time with them, like a little bit more time training, or I don't know. These are interesting characters, but I wish we got more of them.
You know, now that I'm hearing it, that's the Dokken music
Yep,
that he
there it
was
is.
talking about.
Yeah, I kind of just thought that as soon as I heard it. It's like, that must be it. And it makes sense that it's there.
Yeah, so in this version, the original version, they took it out of the title sequence and just put it into the radio. I'm guessing in the other version, it was probably playing during the whole thing and like transposed into the radio. Anyway,
Right.
so give you some of my history. You thought the first one was funny?
I mean, it had good parts, but I saw it as an adult for the first
Right.
time. I didn't grow up with that movie, and it's an 80s movie, and it just, I don't know. I didn't hate it. I liked it. I just went, oh, okay. Accordion arms.
That was pretty comical. So when I first saw Nightmare on Elm Street, I was a young lad, very young. I was about 3,
Yep.
and
Yeah, that makes sense. When I was 3, I saw The Predator, but yeah.
which is a fun movie as well.
Yep.
But I was 3 years old, and my parents would find me watching it by myself.
That doesn't surprise me about you.
Right. Well, this is where do you think it began, buddy?
Yeah.
They would find me watching it by myself, and like multiple times, it became like a thing, and like it started getting really weird because one day we were in the car, my mom and dad are asking my brother and I, like, hey, what do you kids want to be when you grow up? And my brother, oh, I want to be a police officer or a fireman, and they're like, oh, that's noble. Steve, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be Freddy Krueger so I can grow up and kill all the girls. And they're like,
Wow.
yeah, no more Freddy for you. I wasn't allowed to
Yeah.
watch. Freddy was not allowed in my house for pretty much the entire time I lived at my parents' house.
Well, when that's what you want to be when you grow
I
up.
love this shot right here. This is one of my favorite shots in this movie.
It's a clever way to bring the house back, because
Yeah.
they tried to bring it back in part 2, and that made sense. And it was kind of cool to see new family moving in. And then I like this way a lot better. It makes the house even more creepy.
It does. They did so well bringing her into this world, and like, I don't know, and the way they brought the house back was not the low hanging fruit of, oh, well, this family moved into this house,
Right.
because that doesn't make sense. Like in part 2, that just doesn't make sense. There's no need that Freddy would be attached to that house.
Right.
Now, what I like about this is he's not really attached to the house. It's just absorbed into his world. That's what I like
Yes.
about this.
I like that too. Now, I kind of struggled watching part 2 because it's called Freddy's Vengeance. And I'm like, well, you have none of the original cast in it. So who is he getting vengeance against?
Yeah, it's just like Freddy, bad subtitle here. Yeah, it was Freddy 2 was an oddity. Now, I do go against the grain because it is a lot of people just don't like it, and I completely understand that. They usually diss its homoerotic tones that it has. Um, in my review, I just said, "Who gives a shit? None of my business." Like that was up to them. I don't really pay attention to that part of it, and I don't even consider it that to be a thing. I just consider it this kid being a horny teenager, and acting weird because it's the 80s. But with that aside, the concept of Freddy 2, of what they did to Freddy, or like what they were trying to do, makes sense. How
Yeah.
they executed that doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
It totally breaks Freddy lore.
Oh, it does, because a lot of stuff was happening in the waking world. And I
Yes.
remember watching it and I was like, wait, this should be happening in a dream. This should
Right.
not be happening in the waking world. I'm very confused. I like the idea of Freddy trying to come through into our world, but I feel like they missed a great opportunity, because it would have been cooler to see our main actor wearing the glove and the hat rather than seeing Freddy. And I feel like they missed an opportunity with that.
Well,
But
yeah, because they don't quite explain why Freddy would want to come into the real world when that's where he can die.
yeah.
Like that makes no sense. And when he comes into the real world, the first movie established clearly he has no powers.
Yes.
They totally abandoned all that in the second movie. I personally, and I get a lot of shit for this, but I personally believe if they want to remake a movie instead of like doing a continuing story, which I'd rather have,
Yeah.
they should remake the second one into a much more Freddy uh, a movie that makes more sense for Freddy to stick into
I
his
agree.
mythology.
Because I feel like this one is really the second one. I know it's called Freddy 3, but it
Yeah.
ignores part 2 altogether and then follows the lore of the first one and even brings back the main character from the first one.
Yeah, you can definitely skip part 2 and you won't miss a beat. But this movie also did a good job of Dream Warriors also did a good job making it to where you didn't need to watch part 2, or if you
Yes.
watched part 2 you would be confused. It just it didn't like uh retcon it or anything like that. It just, well, we're just telling this story now. So
But it's funny because part 2 made it seem like, I forget our main character's name, but it made it seem like she was dead in part 2 and they were reading her diary.
oh
Whereas
yeah.
this one, we
Oh,
see her alive.
well, no, because you're right. They said that she went into the nut house. I think that's what they
Right.
said. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Which she's not really in the nut house. She does have prescription medication to stop her from dreaming, but she's very sane,
Right,
very normal.
but in the first one, she did go to the sleep study and all that stuff. So like
Yeah.
maybe that's where that goes. But there is one problem, and it's not with the second movie. The continuity speaking, continuity, is that a word? Speaking of continuities, one thing that doesn't make sense in that first movie is
Lawrence Fishburne. That
no
was hilarious.
Larry Fishburne is
Dang
what
it.
they titled him in this movie. Larry
Well, I
Fishburne.
like Lawrence.
Yeah, his famous name. Yeah.
Yeah, or
Um,
Morpheus. Just call it, say Morpheus.
um, but in the end of part 1, Nancy's mother gets pulled in through the door in a dream sequence.
Yes. I remember that. That was weird.
I would that last little dream sequence, just that's the one thing that is never talked about again in the series. Like even
Yeah.
in this one, she talks about her mom passing away from, I think, alcohol or something like that. But
Yeah, it's the ending of the first one was the part I liked the least about watching the first one because it was just so strange. I mean, we had this awesome way of not fearing Freddy, and by not fearing Freddy, eliminating his authority over us. Like,
yep.
so that was kind of an interesting plot. And then, they get caught in that weird car that looked like Beetlejuice, and the mom gets sucked through the door. And it's like, oh, come on, we solved the problem.
Well, yeah, but you can't kill Freddy. That's the thing.
Well,
That's
they didn't kill Freddy. They just released. They got away from his power.
right. And that's the crazy thing about like all these movies is we know if you bring Freddy into the real world that you can kill him or stop fearing him, and that will also kill him. But they kind of left that. They kind of left the not fearing him part and
They
just
really did.
and then they just did the whole, oh, well, if you bring him into the real world, then you can kill him.
Yeah.
But like they do that in every freaking movie. Like,
Yeah.
is there a better way that we can do this?
Well, the thing I kind of liked about Dream Warriors is I feel like it shows this idea of spiritual warfare, of the dark versus the light. The fact that they need to get the holy water and the cross and bury him in a more, how do they say, hallowed ground?
Yeah,
I guess we'll get
hologram.
into
Yeah.
that later. Not trying to give spoilers now, but
Yeah,
just
spoilers. Yeah.
kind of interesting though, because it's like it's called Dream Warriors, and I felt like they did an interesting job trying to touch on that idea of spiritual warfare. But that's also where I was a little bit disappointed because I was like, man, you started to establish something cool with these kids and what they could do in their dreams because of what they believe they can do. And that was cool. But you only showed it once. You cut away, all these other things happen, and then all of a sudden they have to get together at the end and use all their powers. It's like, you needed at least 1 or 2 more scenes of them practicing.
Yeah, well, that also is a fallibility that just comes from the 80s. Because
Yeah.
in the 80s, it does. How do you explain how somebody learns to become an expert in whatever field they're studying? Montages. That you
That's
do it through a
true. Well,
montage.
did we get a montage? We didn't get a montage with some
You
cool rock music.
did we not?
I don't. Well,
Well,
you know what? If
hold
I'm
on,
wrong, we'll know in a few minutes.
hold on. Actually, I'm gonna scratch that opinion and give you a new one.
Okay.
And that is these are who they are in their dreams anyway. So like they are always dreaming that when they like kid says, when I'm dreaming, I'm a wizard master. So like
Mhm.
he's already experienced in his own way. Does that make sense? They
Yeah, it
already have
does.
these powers. We just haven't seen them. We just have to assume they've had them
I
for a
just
very long
wish we
time.
spent more time with them because I just thought they were
Yeah.
interesting. So maybe
No,
it's not even I need a
fair.
montage to see them practice. I just wanted to spend more time with each of those characters, kind of like in the 90s Ninja Turtle movie. We spent each time with each turtle and got to know them and their
Yeah.
different qualities. I wish we did that with this.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Very valid point.
It was cool to see our original lead from the first one, though, return in this one. I was like, oh,
Uh
look, we're connecting. We're connecting. Yay.
well, yeah, and this solidified her as a scream queen, her returning.
Interesting.
So there's a shot here. I want to get your opinion on this shot as a person who follows filmmaking closely.
Awesome.
How hard is it to get this shot in the golden hour of sunset, like in
Oh,
one
man.
take?
Okay. So now I actually have personal experience with it, being on the Chosen stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and feel free tell people about the Chosen if you want.
oh
If you
yeah,
want to give
yeah,
a real quick
Chosen is an
rundown.
awesome show, first ever multi-season show about the life of Jesus, and it's actually good. But I was there when they're filming something at the golden hour, and that's hard to do because the golden hour is actually really beautiful, and it's one of the best situations for lighting.
Yeah,
But it's also really hard because you only have seriously an hour or less to get it done.
yeah,
So you got to get all your angles, all your shots as fast as you can. And it's interesting. So we'll have some interesting videos coming out on that soon. But like, it's interesting to watch them try to film in that golden hour. So that shot, I don't know how long it took them. And, I don't know if they cheated at all, but you
well,
could.
no, they didn't cheat. It was something they worked really hard to get to, and actually, you can tell some certain shots are more goldeny than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did a really good job making sure they stuck in that golden hour
Oh, yeah.
setting.
Well, I have a whole lot more respect now whenever I see anything that is shot in the evening with that golden hour look, because, man, I'm telling you, the stress is on for a scene like that because you got to do all that camera setup. You got to
Yeah,
get your one angle. Then you got to turn everything around to get your other angle. And none of that takes a short time. So they got to be on their game to get the golden hour stuff.
yeah, and it's really cool to get your perspective on this since you've been out working with actual film crews and seeing how it's done, in person. So I'm glad to get your perspective from
Oh,
that and
yeah.
get some confirmation of how difficult that shot actually is to pull off.
It's actually one of the coolest things I've seen. You know me since high school and how much I love movies, and I've always
Yeah,
wanted to be on a movie set. So quite a privilege to get to be on one. And then it helps me look at movies and filming so much different. And then I look at the 80s and I'm thinking how much bigger everything was, how much heavier everything was. I mean, they were filming on actual film. And those are big old reels that are pretty
yeah.
heavy as you put them in the Mickey Mouse ear things on the camera. And all I could think of is how much harder was it to move all that stuff and gear things up, and how did they set things up to get those shots as fast as possible?
Well, they definitely had professionals on deck for this one. And I think Wes Craven coming back for this movie is what made that happen.
Oh,
You
I
know.
just noticed there's the nurse that he has a crush on, and that's how Freddy got into his mind because there,
Oh
there he
yeah.
is flirting with her now. I didn't
Oh
notice that
yeah.
the first time I was watching.
Yeah, she's walking away with Lawrence Fishburne there.
Yep, you mean Larry?
Larry Lawrence Fishburne. And we get to see her boobs later too. Score, kids. Oh geez.
But then, of course, he gets tied to the bed with tongues over a bed of fire, and you're like, oh, never mind.
I don't know. He's a teenager. He might just be like, it's worth it. Even though that it's so strange that Freddy Krueger has this thing with tongues. It seems that it happened in the first movie, the tongue
Yeah.
coming out of the phone, like when she's answering the phone, it's like blah, 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 to his face or to her face. And then the tongues in this one, I think it happens in a few other ones.
Well, it's kind of like a comedy, right? When you do a comedy and you have jokes that get big laughs, you do the sequel, you tend to repeat what got you the big laughs, forgetting that now that you're seeing it a second time, it's not as funny. And I kind of feel like it's that same thing with horror, because I'm guessing when Freddy's tongue came through the phone, it got big reactions. And then here they are trying to repeat those big reactions. And I think
Yeah,
they
but
did a good
I
job
don't
upping it, though, in
I don't
this
think
one.
I don't think they did it for laughs though. I don't think Freddy
I
had
didn't
it.
mean for laughs. I'm just talking about
You
how
you were
they want the
comparing it. I
same
got you.
response
Yeah.
again. And
Yeah.
they're doing it big. Laura just yelled in the background. She laughed during that tongue scene, though.
Well, yeah, that's because Laura hates happiness. So I'm joking, Laura.
My wife, one of these days, Steve, we're going to do a horror film and I'll get Laura to join us because her reactions to horror films are completely inappropriate. She is
Oh,
laughing hysterically at scenes where really we should be on the edge of our seats and horrified. She's just
okay.
laughing.
I was
And then she's
watching.
always yelling, "Turn on the light. What are you doing walking in the room to begin with? Turn on the light at least." And so, it's just hilarious to have her
She's
commentary.
speaking common sense to horror movie characters.
Yes.
No,
And then
uh,
laughing at their lack of common sense, like they deserve the pain that's coming their way.
it's funny you mention this because I was actually watching the 2013 Evil Dead reboot um, a few nights ago, and the person I was watching it with was laughing at the slasher scenes, and I'm like, "Are you okay? You all right?" And, she's like, "No, no, I'm fine." And then she just kept laughing, and then I started laughing about it. But it was just, it kind of reminds me of you and Laura there.
Yep. Yeah, when we watched Halloween for the first time from the 70s, the original Halloween, like she was laughing hysterically. And we had just done a Predator ranking video and all that stuff. And so Arnold Schwarzenegger, he throws that knife and it sticks the dude to the wall, and Arnold goes, "Stick around." And so that scene where Mike Myers sticks that dude to the cabinets with a knife, Laura just falls on the floor laughing. And she goes, "Stick around." It's just hilarious.
I would love to have her on a live watch party. She sounds fun.
Oh,
Oh, dude, I
yeah.
love this shot right here. The tricycle that just melts onto
Yes.
the floor.
Yeah, I think it's really cool too. I
Here,
actually
look,
had that exact tricycle, so that's really creepy to me.
right?
Yeah.
Pop quiz, man. Here's a little trivia for you.
Uh-huh.
What other horror franchise is that super popular horror franchise use the tricycle as their main villain's scare factor, if you will,
Oh,
or
man. I have no
eerie
idea.
Saw.
Oh, that makes sense because it's in the trailers. Yeah.
Yep.
I should have thought of I haven't seen any of the Saws. This pig is hilarious.
Dude, I've had nightmares about this freaking pig.
Oh, I can
Literal,
see how you could. I mean,
literally.
if you're a kid and all of a sudden a roasted, burnt up pig starts snorting at you, yeah, it's pretty freaky.
See, to me, this is awesome. This is what horror movies need still.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about, yeah, it might be a little campy. You sit there and you see a pig just, roasted pig just jump out at you, but like, imagine. I guess I always just put myself in that situation. Like,
Yeah.
imagine what it smells like, and all of a sudden this thing moves. You ever been
Yep.
like, have you ever had cats, Durban?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so like when you're like, what is that noise? And you walk around, and then all of a sudden the cat jumps out, and you're like, oh god, it's like that, like times 10.
Yes. And what's
Okay,
nice about
real
the
quick,
pig.
real quick. This right here is my favorite sequence of shots in the entire movie.
Well, it's just nice because it's practical.
Not just practical, but this is what scared the hell out of me as a kid. When Freddy shows up right here in any second now as that like Freddy snake thing.
Oh, yeah.
The thing
Giant Freddy
that's in the
boa
bottom,
constrictor.
the bottom of the screen right here. Yeah.
There it
Boom.
is.
Dude, that terrified
Yeah.
me.
See, I already don't like snakes. So, yeah, that
Yeah,
would freak me out if I
you
was
and my
watching this as a child, too.
dad have that in common.
Oh, I hate snakes. I think
I
my fear of snakes is because Indiana Jones was always a hero of mine, and that's the one thing he feared. So I wanted to be like Indiana Jones, but
Oh.
it turned into a genuine fear.
So I got really excited about this scene, but what were you oh, where she gets pulled into the dream?
Yeah, that was cool.
God, look at this. Look how cool this is. All practical effects.
Yep.
And, well, mostly practical. There's some stop motion stuff here too as well.
But see, this is why I love practical effects. I like CG to enhance it,
Yeah.
but like I was watching this and I was like, yeah, it looks a little cheesy, but then you got to respect it because it's the 80s and it's all practical. And
Yeah, but
practical kind of grounds it. So, like what I was saying about the pig, what kind of makes that a little bit scarier is the fact that it wasn't a CG, slightly cartoonish pig. I mean, there was literally a pig on that table that they
right.
filmed with that camera.
Well, and that's the amazing thing about practical effects is that what you just said right there, that's a real thing. It's there. You can touch it. The way it's working with the lighting, the slime and all that stuff is real. It's not animated.
Yep.
Now, yes, you can make a CGI version that looks a little bit more real, not so like mechanical, but you lose all the practicality out of it. You lose it being a real thing in that world, you know?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. We got a comment here.
Ooh, I'm
Kimberly
excited about
Blair. Hi, Kimberly. How you doing, hon? Freddy is definitely a contributor to some of my weirdest and scariest nightmares. One time when I was a kid, I remember having a dream where I was naked running down Rainbow Road from Mario Kart.
Oh,
That is
and
so
that's a
like
rough road, man.
that is so like you, Kim. Yeah. And while Freddy was trying to kill me, I'm broken. You know, Kim, thank you for bringing that up because as a Freddy fan, and I think most true Freddy fans have had this moment. Now, Kimberly said that he was chasing her down. I had a dream about Freddy where he actually killed me.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I got stabbed in the stomach, and then I woke up from it, and I felt like I was invincible.
Wow. One time I had a dream that Dorothy Gale from Wizard of Oz was trying to escape a Tyrannosaurus Rex and she was on her bike, but no matter how fast she pedaled, it didn't move. And the T-Rex stood there ominously. It didn't move, but you knew at any second it would. That was a scary dream. I felt really scared for Dorothy.
You had a nightmare about
Dorothy
Wizard
Gale.
Wizard of Oz, Dorothy?
Yeah, I had a crush on her. And so it was really sad at the age of 3 or 4 to have a dream about the fact she could be eaten by this T-Rex at any second.
This is pre Jurassic Park.
Jurassic
The
Park didn't
T-Rex
come out
was
till
just
I was
there.
9. Yeah.
Wow.
I love dinosaurs, dude. I watched every dinosaur special in the book. So, yeah, I wasn't allowed horror films when I was a kid, other than Predator. But those are my dreams.
Why only Predator?
My mom loves sci-fi, action, and fantasy, and Predator combined 2 of those 3 favorite things, sci-fi and action, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so she didn't care that I was 3. We were there in the theaters watching Predator.
Okay, fair. Your mom knows what she's doing. Okay.
Oh, she knows. She knows what she's about. So to this day, I mean, those are my favorite genres.
Okay, so this line this kid just said is the most effective line of dialogue in this movie. Is like the fact that we're all dreaming about the same guy and never met each other before doesn't seem to concern anybody or something like that.
Yep.
Like that's the most profound thing anybody says in this movie because they're all dreaming about the same dude, telling the counselors about the same guy, and no one seems to care about it.
Well, what's hilarious about it is here's these counselors trying to be scientific and they're being incredibly unscientific because they don't want to admit there could be something spiritual going on. They're like, well, then you're having a shared hallucination. It's like, oh, come on. It's more than that. They have never met and it's the same dude. You're being unscientific, trying to be as scientific as possible.
Yeah, the doctors in this movie they're weird, especially I forget the guy's name, the love interest for Nancy. What a weenie!
Yeah,
I just do not like. He has no convictions, nothing. You know, one scene he's like, you can't take that sort of medication. I won't have it in this hospital. And then like the very next scene, he's like, I will quit this administration if you don't put these kids on this experimental medicine. Like,
yep. Based on Nancy telling him the story of the first movie. And it's like, okay, but doesn't he require more evidence? Because he even doesn't believe it, but he's going to go with her on this one.
Well, I'm just going to assume that maybe he's like, dude, I can totally get with this chick. I'm going to do whatever I can. Experimental drugs. Sure. Whatever.
I could see that.
Oh, Kim says, my mom banned us from watching South Park as kids, yet we were watching every single scary movie. I'm forever terrified of having my Achilles tendon slashed from Child's Play 3 scene. Oh, yeah, Child's Play 3. Yeah, I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
I remember the Achilles being slashed in the 1989 Pet Cemetery. Like, that freaked me out.
I've actually never seen that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Weird, huh? The one horror movie you have seen?
Okay. Thanks to Cody Leach, I've seen more than one.
Thank you, Cody. Together we can get this done.
Yes. But the 1989 Pet Cemetery was actually pretty good and way better than the newer one that came out. Well, the newer one had some really interesting concepts. So if you could take kind of the concepts in the new one and the concepts in the old one and combine them in one movie, you got a great movie.
I got you.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I know. I should probably watch Pet Cemetery. You're right.
You should watch the '89 one. Zelda, as a grown up, when Zelda popped up in the 1989 version, it freaked me out. As a grown up, I told that to Cody Leach too. He thought that was funny, but it freaked me out. I like the white streak still in her hair. How they kept that from the first one, keeping that
Yeah,
continuity going.
that was good. Yeah, and here she is having a nice dinner scene with Weenie.
Yeah, and I agree with you. All he's thinking about is, I can get with this girl, right? I think so.
He's like, well, let's forget about the man of your nightmares, baby, because I'm the man of your dreams, but not the murderous kind. I mean, honestly, the fact that they try to like shoehorn him in as a love interest just doesn't fit in this movie for me.
It doesn't. You know what also doesn't fit for me? The fact that Nancy is on a dream suppressant drug. And the reason that doesn't work for me is because of her revelation at the end of the first one. When she stopped fearing him, I mean, it was a whole dramatic scene. When she stopped fearing him, he lost his power over her. And so you would think she could go ahead and be dreaming now because Freddy no longer has power over her because she doesn't fear him anymore.
Yeah, like there's a real Freddy 2 that we never saw that would explain that,
Yes.
instead of the one that we did get.
Actually, that is very sensible and makes a ton of sense what you just said. Yeah.
Here is not only one of my favorite kills of
Oh, that's creepy.
any of the Freddy movies, but one of my favorite kills of all time, and that's this puppeteer scene. I freaking love it.
Yeah, like it's funny because I was watching it last night, and on the one hand, it's the 80s, so the effects weren't the absolute best. At the same time, I felt the pain of like my nerves coming out through my wrist and my feet, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I don't like watching this.
Yeah, I mean everything from like the sound that's playing to
Yeah.
that like blood flowing through the veins. It just sounds painful.
Yes, it does. So that is pretty cool how
Oh
they
God!
Ow, ow.
Everything about this hurts.
Yes, it
Everything
does.
about this part. Seth Draven, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 has, for a while, been my third favorite Freddy movie. I still prefer the first one and New Nightmare. All good movies. They're
Which
so
one is New
good.
Nightmare?
They're so good, in fact, that Seth Draven is actually sitting in the other room and refused to be a part of the watch party. Love you,
Well,
son.
if he loves this movie, he should be here and be a part of this watch party.
No,
Seth.
no, I'm not going to hassle him too much. He's giving an honest review, but he's also not a huge horror fan. So he must get that from his real dad. I don't know. I'm joking. You're my real son. I love you. So you hear that sound of
Yeah, I do. And
oh man.
That's like, yeah.
It's like when you cut your finger and you can feel your blood pressure.
Yep.
Yeah, but all over your body and much worse.
Ugh.
All right, this pisses me off, especially because this mute kid does say something at the end of the movie. Right now is your time to say something, buddy.
Oh, well, but he only says something in the dream world. Like he can't, for some reason, talk in the real world, and it's in the dream world that he shatters all those mirrors and gets them with his voice.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Still.
Yeah, no, I agree. If there was any time that kid should have been talking, it was here. But I'm mad at this nurse because does the nurse go, oh my gosh, this patient's in trouble? Let me follow him and see what the problem is? No, she just irritatedly stays behind the desk.
Well, he stole her food, so she's probably pretty pissed about that.
Well, that's true, but at least chase him down and scold him about the food and then see the real problem. But no, she just sits there. What is that?
Chase Gilroy. Oh my God, what have you done? I don't know. What have I done, Chase? And then Stephen Allen Kidd, you take that fake shave. Oh, he's talking. Yeah, that's my Halloween mask, Chase. Ironically, I shaved my face to become Harry, which is the costume I have tomorrow. It's a character.
Yeah, Harry from Home Alone.
Home Alone. Yeah, because I'm going at the open mic that I run with a buddy, and we're doing Harry and Marv from Home Alone. So I had to shave my face, but hey, it grows back, Chase. Come on, now I look as baby face as you. Anybody doesn't know who Chase Gilroy is, check out his YouTube channel, Gilroy Vlogs. Very popular channel, and I love his content. I'm sure you will too.
Well, Chase, join us at 33 minutes and 2 seconds, 3 seconds,
Yes.
4 seconds.
Oh yeah. Timestamp 33 minutes and 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds.
Yep. I'm on HBO Max, so that's where you can stream it.
You know, I tried to do a screen share, like where we could do like a live timestamp and just like, show
That would
people
be
where we're at,
awesome.
but it won't let me do it. The screen's just black because of the whole copyright thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's annoying.
Oh, geez, thanks, buddy. Daddy. He said daddy. I thought it said buddy. Well, that's creepy. Thanks, Chase. You're welcome.
Hold on. I went to click my StreamYard tab and clicked out of HBO Max.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. What's your timestamp, Steve?
I am at 33 and 53, 54,
33
55, 56, 57, 58, 59.
Tell me when you're at 3304, 3404.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. And it paused. Okay. I'm at
30
3408. 9.
I'm
10.
at you're 2 seconds behind. No worries.
Oh, we'll live with that. That's
well,
fine.
we've been a lot worse.
Yes, we have. I'm not going to click anything else. Just got to stay right here.
It's nowhere near as bad as that one time we were watching. It was my first live watch party where we watched Batman v Superman, and my internet went down twice, and you were stuck on the stream alone in California going, I think they'll be back.
I don't know. I'm just sort of, we're live and I'm stuck here alone on somebody else's channel. So, okay. What makes me so mad is I get if she wants to be scientific and not believe there is the soul of a mass murderer, haunting their dreams. That's fine.
Yeah.
But they are all sharing a dream, and that's not something stupid like a shared hallucination. There is something real going on, and she refuses to be the least bit actually scientific about it and investigate. She's just stuck on, it must be what I think. It's really irritating.
Yeah, I read an article where Robert Englund, there was buzz about them remaking this movie.
Uh-huh.
And Robert Englund said, actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea. But I would love to come back for that one in a cameo. And he said, I would love to play that doctor.
Oh, that would be interesting.
The female doctor. He says, not only would I like to play her because, it'd be a dynamic of, I was Freddy in one and this doctor in the other, the skeptic. But he said, I would love to give her more validity to the character.
Yes.
And I even put in my review, I kind of piggybacked off that and said, yeah, I really wish at the end of this film, she would have seen something happen in person that disproved everything that the kids said. And she realized that she was wrong this entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely an arc this character's missing.
Yep.
Oh man, God, the kills in this movie are so great. Here comes the best. Not only not the best. The puppeteer one was the best, but this one is probably the most well known.
What's interesting about this one is when the arms came out of the TV, and I was watching this yesterday, I went, it looks weird. But then when her face goes through the TV, I went, that is creepy. I don't like that.
Well, and I believe,
in other words, it was done well. That's what I'm saying.
I believe this is when they caught on that Freddy could be funny. Is right here. This, welcome to prime time, bitch. I think people actually laughed at that, and they're like, man, that was good. Let's do more of that until it gets ridiculous,
Oh man.
And that's then started snowballing the Freddy that we saw that ended up into what Freddy's Dead, that fucking clown show of a movie.
I have not seen anything past this one. So,
well, Freddy's Dead, if you laughed at the other ones, that movie will be the most funny movie you've ever seen in your entire life.
So this dude here, I feel like I don't know why he's here. Yes, we're seeing he's a creeper and he's a jerk, but what's the point? He doesn't get killed. He adds nothing to the plot or the story.
He does.
No callback.
He does.
Does he?
What he's doing right here, he's letting us know that she has had a drug problem, and that's huge to her storyline.
That's right.
But that's literally the only reason why he's there. So
it just felt like there should be some way they call back to this, he gets this horrible kill because he's such a creeper. But yeah, that makes sense if they're trying to introduce the fact of her past, which is what Freddy tempts her with later.
Actually, what really would have been cool if like he walks away and he has like red and green striped pants or something. Like
Uh-huh.
she's like in a dream right now. I know that's not the case, but that would give validity to his character.
My question is, was that a used cigarette that she found in there that she's now smoking? And she's
Dude,
not concerned about getting COVID?
there I'm not even gonna begin to say how many things are wrong with what you just said. I will say number one, 80s. Number
Yeah.
two, um, they're in a mental facility, so there's that.
Yep.
Yeah, so right here is this whole skit, when she's flipping through the TV and Freddie becomes
The host?
the host. That's when I think they finally discovered, well, we could make Freddie funny, and then they put the cherry on top of the cake with the "Welcome to Prime Time, bitch," and they made it into the kill, and that is great. It's the right amount of funny, but well balanced more with horror.
Yeah.
But then later they just went on, and not in
Dang.
this movie, but the continuing movies, it got so bad.
Yeah. This kill actually made me feel really bad for her, because you know how bad I wanted to be an actor in high school and stuff. And so her wanting to be on primetime TV, I'm like, yeah, I want her to have her chance. And then it
Oh,
kills her. I was like really mad.
see, this also reminds me of Poltergeist. I don't know if this came out before or after Poltergeist, though.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that movie, but I know the scene you're referring to. So I have
See,
no
out of
idea.
all things that could happen, I guarantee nobody expected this in theaters. I bet they thought he was like going to literally jump out of the screen or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Oh yeah, I forget you just watched this for the first time the other day.
Yeah.
Boom. Lawrence Fishburne's like, how am I going to explain this?
Yeah. I told her she could stay up and watch TV, and now she's dead.
And now her head is in the TV.
So, I thought it was interesting how we are introduced slowly to the nun here. And I really did start to guess because she was so mysterious that she was a ghost. And then I went, oh, she's not just a ghost. I bet she's Freddy's mom. Like, I started putting that
Yeah.
together in my head. But I
Yeah.
really liked how they were bringing in the battle of light and dark by introducing her into this. I was like, I see where you're going. Dream warriors. We have a nun. Something interesting is going to happen here.
Yeah, that is a good dynamic they have. I thought bringing in that backstory of Freddy not only makes him more sinister, but now that his mom is like on the side of fighting against him,
Yeah.
like that says a lot about the character.
Yes, it does.
God, the bastard child of 1,000 maniacs. That's a
Ugh.
messed up title to have,
That
man.
is a messed up title to have, but you're right. It adds to the lore of Freddy. I mean, it's
Well,
creepy.
and Freddy's one of those characters to where like I don't I know it's tried a couple times, but it's never actually been like taken off. But he is one of those characters that absolutely need a prequel.
Yeah.
I mean, the prequel was written right in the first movie. He was the Springwood slasher who killed kids.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah,
then the thing is, he's in the real world in that one, so nothing supernatural, just freaky slasher.
well, yeah, but it would be haunting in its own right because remember, there's a trial and like the
Yep.
paperwork got so, like I could just see that as one whole movie.
Yeah.
Like that could be a movie, and it's never been done. We've gotten
That
all
would
the
be an interesting way if they wanted to revitalize this franchise, is to do it that way and do a prequel.
yeah, well, maybe do a Netflix series prequel like they did with
Ooh.
like they did with Psycho, the Bates Motel.
And then have it take place in the late 70s, early 80s, so it could really fit as that prequel to the original movie.
Yeah, because everything that made Freddy into Freddy is that precursor to the first movie.
Yeah.
Like because he was murdered by the parents. Like, yes, what he was doing was wrong. He was killing kids, but like he was given major injustice too. So like it adds to why he does what he does. I would love to see
Yeah.
that story pan out because they could play it in a way to where you're like, man, Freddie was messed up, but those parents kind of deserve this,
Yeah.
like you know, in a weird way.
Well, it's weird because the parents were really messed up and what they did to him. And then, you get kind of their guilt and that they live with the trauma of doing that to somebody. So it's like, wow. So I guess two evils don't make a righteous.
Apparently not, because here he is.
Yep. Which, speaking of, it was cool they brought Nancy's dad back in this one.
Yes, and his character arc makes perfect sense.
It really does.
You
Yeah.
know, because in the first Nightmare on Elm Street, he was almost like a Boy Scout of the police department.
Yep.
You know, he was doing the right thing. He was one step ahead of the kids. You know, had his head clear, and you know what happened to him in that movie. His character arc in this one just makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You know, he's not even a police officer. Like his badge is sewn on. It says security. You know,
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
so
his badge says he's security, and he's just getting drunk at the bar. You know, and
yeah,
that's a perfect story arc. Again, it's like there was a second movie that wasn't the second movie that we saw.
Yes.
How about this? If you're gonna do a prequel, but don't want to do like the full scale prequel, do the prequel to this movie.
Yep. Well, it's kind of like the Star Wars sequels. The third film in that series is a third film to a second movie that didn't happen.
Oh, is it?
It feels like it because it
yeah.
kind of tries to ignore what happened in The Last Jedi and try to course correct it in such a radical way that it's like, you just needed a different second movie.
Oh, maybe. I never saw it that way. I'll have to go back and check that out. I don't think I ever caught that. Oh, how about this, Durban? How about this? Why don't we remember how I said take the Freddy's Revenge? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah. Take Freddy's Revenge, remake it in a much better concept, but add the element of Nancy and make that the prequel to this one. Like make it the actual, like how it just weaves right into this movie.
That would be awesome.
That's how you do that. That's how you do. You talk to the chosen people, tell them if they need they need a cash cow to help fund their Christian series. I
don't think they're gonna make a Freddy movie.
Dude, now I sound like Ed Wood.
I think you do, yes.
Ed Wood convinced the whole Baptist church to fund his horror movie because they wanted to make 12 Apostle movies. He goes,
really?
Yeah, and he goes, well, if you make one good mainstream movie in a popular genre, you'll have enough to make all 12 of your movies. And that's how he was able to get his most popular movie ever made. And they never made their 12 Apostles movie. So I am Ed Wooding the chosen. They don't need help. They're doing just fine.
Yeah, they are. They don't need to Ed Wood. Now, I like this scene because it reminded me of the first movie a lot. The seamless transitions into the dream. So much so that even the dude doing the hypnotizing didn't realize he hypnotized himself and he was in the dream. Like, I thought that was well done.
I absolutely hate this scene.
You hate this scene?
I do not like it at all. There's a couple different
Is it the hypnotizing part, or is it when they're in the dream exploring their powers part?
Well, no, it's the hypnotizing and everything wrong with how they're doing it. They're hypnotizing these kids and, like you said, themselves, because we're professionals. But number two, didn't they just put these kids on dream suppressants?
That's right, they did, and they had a huge fight over that. Yeah,
right. Number three, Nancy knows what Freddy can do. Why does she okay with this experiment? Hey, let's just put them all to sleep at the same time. Like nothing. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Kristen to pull everybody in, to see if that works. But nothing else about this makes any sense at all. And that's my biggest problem with this scene.
Well, they also didn't explain Kristen's power that well, or explain
they glossed over it when she pulled Nancy into the snake Freddy part. They glossed over that, but.
And to me, you can't gloss over that. If your whole premise is the dream warriors and each person has a gift and her gift is extremely important because it's what pulls everybody together. I mean, I end up picking it up as the movie goes, but it's like that was part of my weakness with the whole dream warriors thing. And that's why I'm saying I want more time with them, So it's like, I get what you're saying though. Like Nancy knows his power. Why are you pulling them into the dream world? And so it'd be cool if they could establish Kristen could pull them into some place where they could practice. I don't know, but whatever.
Where is there a safe place from Freddy in
I
your
don't,
dreams?
not in
Is
the
there
dream world,
right?
especially if you're children of the people that, murdered him so bad.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
It's
The
about to be this
seduction
boy's lucky
thing.
day.
Oh man, I felt bad for this kid in this scene. And honestly, okay, so the theological analysis part of my brain started working here because it's like that really is the devil coming as an angel of light. He came to that kid in a way that looks so good, and then when the kid gave in, he was trapped in something worse than he could ever imagine.
Is that the kid that can't talk? Is that who that is?
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one who
So
can't talk.
so technically he gets tongue-tied.
I see what you did there. It's
Thank you.
brilliant.
Thank you.
It's
I'm not
brilliant.
I don't even remember if Freddy makes that joke or not in this part. I hope he doesn't. I hope I came up with that
That'd
on
be
my own.
great if you came up with that yourself, but I feel like I remember Freddie saying
Yeah,
something
he
like
probably
that in the
did.
scene.
He probably
Yes.
did. We're gonna find out real soon. In my dreams, I can walk. I'm the wizard master.
It's funny how he has a Doctor Strange cape, but it was long before Doctor Strange.
Well, no, not really.
That's true.
Okay, so her dream power, she can do a backflip, even though she's the only one that has actual powers. No, your dream power is you pulled everybody into your dream.
Yeah, the backflip thing was a little weird to me. I was like, why are we doing this?
All right, he's really strong. Okay.
I love that he's getting in trouble in his dream for bending a chair that's not really being bent.
Oh man, I would probably date that chick.
I remember you in high school. Yeah, you would have.
Wow, red flags, huh? I have your number. Oh
But that
man.
girl I felt the most bad for because she looked like with the knives, she was the most willing and ready for a fight. And
Yeah.
then Freddie just like he's hitting this kid right now in this scene with his weakness, like he hit her with her weakness hard, and it was so
Yes.
sad.
Yeah, her weakness is her entire arc is totally poetic. Like she has this new empowerment of life. And she's defeated, her drug issues and just yeah, Freddie definitely defeated her soul. He didn't just kill her, he killed her integrity and everything.
Ugh.
All
Which
right,
is
we're gonna
why I actually really hated her death. I hated it when we got there because I felt horrible for her. I was like, no, I don't want to see a defeat like that. I want her to win.
all right, I want to find out if Freddie says tongue tied here.
I'm listening for the line.
I love this transition though. Come on, don't say it. Don't say it, Freddie. Damn it. All right, I didn't come up with that line myself. This movie's just so embedded into my brain. All right, and now we're watching Indiana Jones 2, Temple of the Doom.
Yes,
Num num num
100. I
shivai,
was trying to
num num
figure
num
out
shivai,
like what
num
movie
num
can I
num
compare
shivai,
that
num
to.
num num shivai. Got him, got him.
Gosh, I want to watch Indiana Jones now. When this is over, I'm going to watch Indiana Jones.
You just want to keep the party going, bro? Let's just I'll rent it on Voodoo. Let's just keep doing this.
You know, you're in a dream and you got Strong Boy. So Strong Boy should have been bursting through these walls or knocking down that door.
Yeah.
But then I have this
Well, but the
problem. I've
walls are on
seen The
fire.
Matrix, and
The
I've
walls
seen
are on
what
fire.
happens when you realize the bullets aren't real and there is no spoon. And I'm kind of wishing they would all grab a hold of that reality.
See, this is the biggest part the problem I have with this hypnotizing scene is because did they not think this would happen?
Yeah.
Do they not have a plan B? Like, man, Freddy's got us back in the corner and we didn't even see it coming.
This scene is very Star Warsy with the walls closing in, right?
Yeah, dude, yes, it is. I love this part though when she catches them
Yep.
because this whole situation, they deserve it.
Yeah. I still don't like her though.
Oh, the doctor?
Yeah, I don't like her at all.
Right, and that's yeah, that's where I would like to see her character just have a little bit more arc to it.
Yes.
You know, because I do think I think deep down that character could be written as somebody who actually gives a crap.
Yeah.
You know, and as I said, like I would like to see her get that moment of where she realized she's been wrong and maybe even
Yeah.
help out. I don't know, but or at least to
That'd
see
be
what,
cool.
or
Cool
at
little
least,
redemption arc for her. Yeah.
right, yeah, a little redemption for her. I would definitely love to see if they ever remake this, which I hope they don't ever try to do that. If you're gonna make a new Freddy movie, just make a new one.
Yep.
Follow Candyman. Have Robert Englund pass the torch to somebody else. But
Yep.
anyway, yeah, I would love if they ever did do a remake. I'd love to see her character actually have an arc, redemption story, and yeah, she could be written a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not so two-dimensional.
Because her two-dimensional stuff isn't very realistic to me. Like I'm fine if she's like stuck in a certain way of thinking of this, but since this whole thing is about the battle of your mind and what's real and what's not, how interesting would it be to have her brought into the actually take away this dude who's our main dude and make her the doctor and show her very real struggle with her science and what she says has to be versus now what she's experiencing and her struggle with that. That would have been way more dynamic and interesting.
Yeah, because there's absolutely no need for that for him to be in this movie.
Yeah. Oh man, we're just solving problems all over the place.
Well, it's pretty easy when in perspective, you know, like
Yes,
but
it's
I could also see like being in the excuse me, being in the 80s and like writing this movie with Wes Craven and being like, oh yeah, this is great. That's gonna be the creepiest way. No, that doctor needs to be as cynical as possible because fuck kids, you know,
yeah.
like and yeah, I could see that in like in the writing room, you know, but
You know, this lock doesn't break. He hits it. It doesn't break. It barely moves, and then he just opens the door.
oh, it says pool. Oops.
Yes, that's pretty much what happened there. But actually, this was the scene where I officially guessed that the nun was Freddy's mom.
Well, good because they officially tell you in this scene.
Oh, is it this scene where
yeah.
I thought it was at the end when he looks at the tombstone. I thought this was just the story,
Oh,
and then at the end he sees her grave.
no, okay, no, you're right. They don't you're right. They
I
don't
feel
officially.
validated. Thank you.
They don't officially say that's Amanda Krueger, but
It's easy to
He's
figure it out.
following. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to come to that conclusion because the nun, she's the nun. He follows her in the tower. Then the whole story kind of plays out here.
Yeah.
She's the one telling the story, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think she like kind of fills in this backstory for poor Freddy and tells him what he needs to do to defeat Freddy.
The bastard of 1,000 maniacs.
What a nice nickname for Freddy Krueger.
Right. It's like, oh, my mom called me Sport.
So this scene was creeping me out because I didn't realize that was a statue she's lighting the candle above because she's wearing white, the statue's white. I'm watching this scene and I thought it was a mirror. And I was like, why is the reflection so weird and skinny and different than the person? It's like, oh, it's a statue.
You're like, man, 80s suck. So the worst of the criminally insane were locked up at a church.
Or did it become a church after all of that stuff was done?
Well, no, she was a nun. She worked there. She was
Oh.
taking care of them.
Well, fascinating.
That's how she got stuck in the thing with the people.
Well, that all seems like one giant mistake.
Right, right. It's like these are the worst of the worst psychopathic murderers that we could ever find. So have Miss None Amanda Kruger locked them up for the
Yeah.
weekend. Thanks. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You're
They'll be
fine.
fine. Yeah.
Stop complaining, Amanda. Get in there.
It was the 80s. Oh, that was before the 80s.
Yeah, this would be in the 40s. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Gosh, during World War II.
See, like I'm rubbing my chin because I'm used to like rubbing a beard.
Yeah, and then it's weird because now there's nothing there.
No, I'm just touching skin. Just
Yep. If I go 3 days without shaving, it's amazing how used to the, beard I get to it. And then I shave. I'm like, where did it all go?
hollowed ground.
Okay, so Steve,
Yeah.
they go to a car dump at the end of this, pull Freddy's bones out of the trunk,
Yeah.
and bury him in the dump, which to
Sure
me is
do.
not hallowed ground. I would think you need to put his bones in the car, drive as fast as you can to a church, and bury him in the church cemetery. To me, that's hallowed ground.
But you bless the ground. That's what he does. He blessed the ground.
I think I might have missed that yesterday. I saw that he had the holy water, and I know he had the cross.
Yeah, he was blessing. Well, he was kind of like hurting Freddy, but yet blessing the area, so that's hallowed ground, right?
Now,
Just like
I'm not a Catholic, but it seems they're using very Catholic imagery with the holy water and the cross, and so you would think you would need a priest to be the one actually blessing the ground to make it hollow.
suspension of disbelief, Durban.
I try. I really do. Depending on the movie, I'm better at it and some I'm worse.
Now, listen, all I'm saying is technically you need a priest to bless the ground to make a hallowed ground. So there's no way that this demon character who kills kids in their nightmares could really die this way.
Yeah. It's kind of like when I'm watching a superhero movie and I can't let go of something. It's like,
Right.
wait, hold on. People don't wear blue tights and fly. So maybe I should just let this go.
Right. Yeah. It goes back to that whole concept that people will watch SpongeBob at ease and then be like, wait a minute. How is there a fire underwater? You're like, everything else is completely like, ignored except for the fire underwater.
Yep. Now, I don't know, but this is just me. If I was stuck in a place like this, I would do my best to have good behavior so they don't sedate me.
I don't know.
But I'm weird.
Yeah, well, maybe at first, and maybe they did that at first.
That's true. And you can only go so far.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have sleep and you're very sleep deprived, you lose more and more control over yourself. So yeah. The more I think about it, the more I wish it was that doctor that went on this journey, because she would have been a far more interesting character arc than the dude we're watching.
It would,
like you said, he's so wishy-washy. He just goes with everything.
Yeah, he's like a Boy Scout. He's just I just don't like his character at all.
Yeah, no, she would have been way more compelling. What a missed opportunity.
Yeah, you can see on his sleeve there, it says security.
Oh my goodness. Yep, there it is. I was not paying attention to that last night when I was watching this.
Well, I've only been watching it for 30 years of my life, so.
Oh, yeah. So you would notice that more than me.
Actually, 35 years of my life. Jesus. Who else could they have brought back from the first movie? Do you think would have been a good shoe in?
Actually, I don't know. It's been a year since I watched the first movie. I mean, they killed Johnny Depp, so you're not bringing him back.
Oh no, it would have been cool to like have him make a cameo, like when they're like in hell or in Freddy's world and stuff. And have him show up, Nancy. Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. He did make a cameo in I think either 4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was. I think it was 5 when it got really bad.
I wonder how they got him back for 5 when it got really bad.
Well, it was literally just a quick cameo. He was on the TV, and remember those this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
Yes.
Yeah, he was doing that on the TV commercial, and then Freddy comes up and like hits him with the pan over the head. This is your brain on drugs. You're like, yeah, it's That was it.
Hilarious.
That's all. That's his only cameo. All right.
I don't see. I was kind of weird on this, but then it kind of fit. But I was back and forth on the fact, like, shouldn't Nancy have stayed with her dad to go get the bones because it's her dad, and then he should have gone to the hospital because he's a doctor and has access. I was back and forth.
Well, he doesn't have access.
That's right. He's fired. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fired. I don't know. I like the way they did it. It makes more sense for her dream experience to be with the kids.
It does. Well, like as it progressed, that's where my mind went. I was like, yeah, this makes more sense that Nancy's here. But the first time I was watching it and we're at the scene where he takes the dad and she takes the hospital, I was like, interesting.
You know what really should have happened here is that at this point, Nancy should have said, "Hey, man, you kind of suck. So why don't you go home?" And then she splits herself into two versions of herself, and then one goes sees the kids, and one goes helps dad with Freddy. That's how this should have worked.
There you go. Like she should have learned some meditative thing where she could split her consciousness, and one end goes into the dream, and part of her can stay awake and take care of her dad.
Nancy, don't talk like that. Well, I'm angry, and you won't like me when I'm angry. And then starts to split in two. Yeah. Durban, we just need to start writing a movie.
We really do.
We should start a series, or we should start our own YouTube bit called Rewriting Movies.
There we go. And we pick our movies and we rewrite them. Yeah.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda movies. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great name. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Who was born here tonight, folks. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I gotta be a little honest with you. I've used that before. It was on a defunct bit that I used to do on here.
Oh, nice.
Well, it was not named correctly. It should have been named Missed Opportunities in Movies.
There you go.
It's under the same light, but yeah.
Well, let's revive that. That's a fun idea.
That's a good idea. I enjoy it too.
It's kind of like how Cody Leach and I keep thinking we're going to bring back the whole where we write stories for movies and compete them with each other. And,
oh my, yeah. Pitch Wars.
Pitch Wars. Yes.
Man, I would love to be a part of that, except of how deep you guys go into that.
Well, I was blown away by how deep Cody went. I just went, okay. So the next time Cody and I do it, because we're still planning to do it, we just keep getting pulled away by our opposite schedules. But, he goes.
Well, Cody doesn't have an opposite schedule anymore.
Oh, that's right. Now it's me who has the weird schedule.
So, well, Durban, I was going to do it, but you're over there expanding your career with movies.
Now, I'm not sure that technically that would have stayed holy water, seeing as how that was a bottle of alcohol, and there was probably still alcohol in it when he filled it with water. But that's me not being able to let go. So I was thinking of this when I was watching this. Fright Night. What I liked about Fright Night and the crucifix with the vampires is in Fright Night, he holds up the crucifix to the vampire and he goes, "What is that to me? What affects me is not that. It's your belief behind it." And so they had to get the belief behind it to get it to work. Did you ever see Fright Night?
Sure haven't, but that I know Cody Leach would be disappointed with me right now.
Yes, that's a great 80s horror film, and you should watch that. But that's what I love. It's not even a Christian movie. It's amazing how they brought in that concept. And I was like, yeah,
that makes perfect sense. And I'm not gonna try to dive too deep away from this movie, but I was listening. Listen, I don't really believe in mediums. I do believe in mediums, but I believe that 98% of them are full of crap. But there's one that I really follow, and she said something to me once that made perfect sense. She went into this house that was known to be haunted, and she asked them, "What belief do they have?" And they go, "Well, we're Christian." She goes, "Okay, then go find a priest and have him bless the house." And someone asked her, "Why did you ask them what religion they have?" She goes, "Well, because then I just guide them to go to their hierarchy in that religion. If you're Jewish, go get a rabbi, whatever." She goes, "Because it's not the religion that matters. It's the belief behind the religion that matters. When you have that confidence to get rid of something, that's what actually matters." And that kind of parallels with what you say there.
Yeah. And that's what Jesus said in Mark 11. He goes, when you pray for something, believe you've already received it and it will be yours. And that's what I loved about Fright Night. It's not about the crucifix. It's about your belief behind that. And that's what repelled the vampire.
Well,
I did a cool video on that. It was a lot of fun.
Well, if you don't have belief, then maybe just leaving a little bit of alcohol in the bottle is the key. And he is a scientist, Durban.
There you go. Yep. But I thought of that when I was watching this because obviously that's what they're going for is the crucifix. And the crucifix appears on Freddy's forehead here at the end. And they're using that to make the ground holy and all of that stuff. And I'm like, but if you don't believe it, then the holy water has no power and the cross has no power because you have actual no faith in your heart that goes with what you're doing. You got to have the faith behind it.
They didn't really dive deep into the religious aspect all that much.
I know, but that's why I love doing theological analyses.
Right. And I'm a piggybacking off of you. Like I agree with you. Like they really just did the whole Freddy got killed because religion and junk. Like oh, here we go. Another hypnotist session. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that went so well the first time. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is where I have a hard time with hypnotism, right? Because at this point, don't they have a lot of adrenaline? And how is watching that little mirror going to calm them down enough to be hypnotized?
Durban, I'm going to tell you something, man. Have you ever seen hypnotism in reality?
Not in reality.
Not at a fair, not at a place, but with people that you know being done, but with somebody that you trust.
I've never seen it like that. No.
It happened one time for me and it freaked me the hell out because I was running a restaurant years ago at Chipotle. I think you remember those days, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
makes me hungry. You just said Chipotle. I'm thinking about, oh man, steak burrito. Go on.
People will not recognize me without my beard. Yeah, I know. I shaved it for my costume tomorrow. It will be back within a week and a half. But
hot takes for nerds. By the way, we are somewhere around 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 56 seconds, 57 seconds, 58 seconds, if you want to jump in.
So, and thank you for tuning in, Chandler. But to conclude my story before we get into the meat and potatoes of this movie. So I worked at this restaurant and we were trying to do a fun party theme for Christmas, right? And I wanted to get a karaoke machine and have the employees do karaoke that night, for a Christmas party. Well, I couldn't get the karaoke machine. And then my assistant manager looked at me and he goes, I already knew he was a hypnotist. He's always said that. He goes, hey, I could actually put on the hypnotist show for you if you want. And we asked the employees how they would feel about that. And they were all comfortable with it. I swear to God, man, he did this he got these people that I know that I work with every day in a line and hypnotized them. They were laughing at a Looney Tunes cartoon that wasn't playing. They were tasting candy that they weren't eating. It was fucking eerie.
Interesting.
So like
never seen that in real life with somebody.
So watching that happen in a situation where I knew the people and I knew I controlled the entire environment of it makes me know that hypnotist is a real freaking thing.
Interesting. So something like that is going on here then of how they were quickly brought into it.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. We went down a rabbit hole there.
Not really, because I told you something I had a problem with and you answered what I had a problem with. There was no rabbit hole at all there.
Yeah, it's right. Buddy.
That's right. Defend yourself, Steve. Come on.
I don't know. I'm always just screwing up, man. See, this is the type of transitions that I love.
Yeah.
And where you just don't know that she's in a dream.
Yeah. Now, what I wish with this though is because I get what happened here, how Freddy separated them. But I think it would have been more effective if they got out of that room and they went to run down a hallway, but somehow the lights went out and they each ran down a different hallway. Something like that to me would have been better imagery than the feathers and the, quick swish to white into this.
Hey, shoulda, woulda, coulda, Durban, right?
Shoulda, but this scene is pretty great though.
Yeah, I know.
You really are alive for a minute or two after you're decapitated. So that's pretty realistic.
They actually announced that in the 2009 reboot. He has one of his victims hanging in his boiler room. And he goes, the brain's still alive 6 minutes after the body dies. He goes,
Yep.
that's 5 more minutes of playtime.
Right. But I
then
think you only have about a minute of consciousness in that time. But yes.
well, consciousness.
Yes. But of
But
course, then you go unconscious into a dream, and that is more
right.
time for Freddy. So it's perfect. This scene broke my heart. It just broke my heart.
Yeah, with the
Which tells
Mohawk
you I got more
chick.
attached to this character than I realized. But it's just the
Oh,
idea of
right
him
here.
playing on her past.
My petty point in my review for this is that Jake's bar wasn't Freddy's bar.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But I love the Tara and Freddy heart in the back right there.
Yeah. No, that works. I guess they maybe thought with the heart, maybe Freddy's bar would have been a little bit more on the nose. So
I would have said
the other.
erase the heart, make that Freddy's bar.
There you go. I think I'd agree with you on that.
And who's Jake anyway? Jake
Exactly.
from State Farm.
I love like the hardcore 80s music there. It's great. And she's walking down that hall. I don't know why. It makes me want to watch Masters of the Universe.
Oh my God. That would be an interesting watch party.
That would be a great watch party because I truly think Masters of the Universe is a genuinely good movie.
Oh, the guy playing Skeletor is freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah. And I know that last fight, they had no lights on it because they ran out of money to make the movie, but it worked, and I thought it was cool.
It worked so well that they're just like, well, shit, we could have saved a lot of money by doing this the whole time, guys.
Yeah.
Where's our lighting guy? You're fired. Let's get high. I want a signed photo of that. I want Robert Englund's autograph with that poster where he's holding the needles up.
And then to see all of those old wounds reopened and like thirsty for it, that just makes me so sad.
Right there. Not only her body, but her soul is defeated here.
And then when you word it like that, it makes it even worse. It's so sad.
Yeah. The kills in this movie are really good. Like that.
Yeah.
Well, except for this kid. I think he has the weakest kill out of all of them. But
does he die, really? I forget.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Durban, at the very end, after we're done with our live watch party, way we'll exit out of this is I have arranged a murder montage of every kill in the movie. So we'll just play that, and that's how we'll end the live watch stream. What do you think?
That sounds like a Halloween blast.
Awesome.
I just feel like seeing that chair with all those spikes represents how he feels in real life sitting in that chair.
Why does Freddy sound different here?
I don't know, actually.
What? Yeah, his voice is inconsistent in this movie.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me in 1989 Batman, the flashback when they ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, where they put his voice in slow motion in that flashback scene.
I am the wizard master.
And look, his voice went back to normal. There you go, Doctor Strange. So I wish we had a reference to whoever Prince of Elves was, because like I have no idea what he's talking about.
Right here. This is his kill.
Yeah, I remember now. It makes it sadder because he's like this wizard master in his dreams. It kind of makes him more innocent, and it makes this kill even worse.
Yeah, almost like Freddy's like, you know what, you fucking nerd, you don't deserve to be killed in an extravagant way. I'm just gonna stab you because you just get on my nerves.
Actually, it would have been better if suddenly Freddy had magic powers and used that against him.
No, Durban. Let's just not. First of all, he does have magic powers. Second of all, they actually kind of start doing that in the later movies, and it gets really bad. There's one kid in the future movie. He draws comic book characters. So Freddy kills him as a comic book character, but like since he draws on paper when he's slashing the kid, he's just paper. He just cuts up paper, and that's his kill. He's just paper. It's so bad.
That sounds really weird.
Nowhere near as bad as when Freddy tried to kill somebody with a road map. God.
Now, why does this kid here think he's so rough and tough right now? Like, what experience has led him to think this is going to be fine?
I don't know. I like his blind confidence.
I mean, I like him. I'm not against it. It's just like, is it that you got these other two people with you that you suddenly, I don't know, maybe he said in bolding, I'm not alone in this dream anymore.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you guys just showed up? I was just about to whoop Freddy until y'all came here.
Yeah.
It was almost there, man.
Now, it's very interesting because what they don't explain is why did Freddy tie up the kid who can't talk anyway? Because you would think the idea would be hold him hostage and lure them all to him.
That's what they're doing.
Well, yes, but only those three. I would think for some reason he wanted to lure everybody to that spot.
Well, isn't that what made everyone come together?
Good point. You're making too much logical sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, Freddy's plan worked. So
I have a question about this scene.
yeah.
So Freddy can only impact the dream world, which is the lore. So how is he able to possess his bones and have his bones affect the real world?
I don't know.
I mean, I didn't hate this scene, but it was something I was wondering as I was watching it.
You know, I never thought about that. Now I want to watch this a little closer here. It's kind of a slow burn, but because
Freddy logic to it.
Well, no, because there is something that happens here. Freddy does kind of manipulate the real world, which he's not supposed to do, but he does it here. I never really thought about that because all the car lights that are flipping, turning on and off, like he's not supposed to be able to manipulate real life, but he is. So that's a good point.
Yeah. And I didn't even think the skeleton effect looked that bad. Like, I mean, it's obviously stop-go motion, but it didn't look that bad. I thought it was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
All the stop motion used in this movie, I totally dig. Even, I mean, the bones are probably like, they're no worse than Terminator 1.
Oh, yeah. And I loved actually, it made me, I was watching it and I immediately thought Terminator 1 and I was like, I should watch that next.
Yeah, it's just as good as Terminator 1 or bad, however you look at it.
Yep.
But like the one that I really liked is the puppeteer scene where, you know, Freddy, but that makes sense because they're using stop animation on a clay character. The character is clay in the movie.
Right.
You know, so like I thought that was really good, that really creative way to explain stop animation right there.
Yeah.
Or why it looks that way anyhow.
I wonder how hot it is.
Hot as hell.
Now, this part kind of reminded me of a superhero movie. Like, she runs down that pipe, it breaks. Strong guy catches it and holds it. And, you know, like, and I'm saying that as a good thing. I thought that was kind of fun to see the superheroes use their abilities here.
Yeah.
Except I don't know Nancy's power. And Kristen's power seems pretty useless.
Right? Wow, you can do that? Neat. Thanks. Hopefully it plays out near the end. Yeah, is it? No? Not really? Okay. See, I love how this whole setup, like how the whole scene is set up here.
Yeah.
It really just, it's one of the best things about Freddy lore is, and this is why I like them bringing back the house, Nancy's house, the way that they did.
Yeah.
Is he absorbs things and brings them into his world. You know, this is some weird hellish place, but it's also infused with the boiler room where he died. but it's also you walk down the hallway. Now it's Nancy's old house.
Sorry,
like
her doing that flip and kicking Freddy. It cracked me up last
oh
night.
yeah, it's her powers. It's her sub power, her less interesting power. Freddy's like, oh no, not a backflip. You found my only weakness, backflips.
If only it was like the Matrix and she did that and everything paused and we did the 360 camera view, then that would have been way better. See, I didn't think things hurt Freddy.
They don't.
Okay.
He's like, gotcha.
That's right. See, I've only seen this once. I'm now remembering that he's faking it. Yes. But Nancy should have known that, for crying in the dirt.
But I love this. This is the part I love that makes me like Freddy. This is unnecessary what he does here, but totally awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Licking the pipe that he just pulled out of his own guts. Freddy, you sick bastard. I love you.
I wonder if this is where Lord of the Rings got their inspiration for the end of the first movie, where the orc licks the dagger that was in his leg and then throws it back at Aragorn.
I'm pretty sure that's just a true barbaric thing that people probably used to do in medieval times. You know, just like making a drinking glass out of the skulls of their enemies or whatever.
Now, here's something you could do interesting in the Freddy prequel. Why is he murdering the kids? Here in this movie, it seems to say that somehow their souls gives him power and their fear gives him power. So what if he made a deal with the devil in his previous life and the fear gives him power?
Right. I think I said that in my Nightmare on Elm Street 3 review. I was like, why does it have to be the Elm Street kids? Because Nancy says, you're the last of the Elm Street kids. Like, why does it have to be the Elm Street kids? He wasn't the Elm Street slasher. He was the Springwood slasher. He had a bigger area of killing people. You know, like I agree with you. They should have made that Freddy lore more into the fear that the kids had. And he preys on, you know, kids like that were in the mental hospital that were having trouble. And he kind of preys on them because they're weak and easily influenced and easily feared.
Yeah.
Or not feared, easily fearing others.
Now, to be clear about this scene, they did not explain anything. He had a sense something was happening to his bones. He disappeared from the fight that he was in. Yeah. And now he's affecting the real world around him.
Yeah, but they did not explain that could be a thing.
Yeah. I've heard no, kind of like what we were just talking about with the souls. It's like, maybe if you explain that a little more, how much he thrives off fear, something like, I'm fine with the fact that he could possess his own bones, but you need to put that in the lore. You need to give us some type of explanation. That's the only way that he can affect reality.
Literally, a throwaway dialogue would explain this. Like, you know, Amanda Kruger, but don't mess with the bones for too long, or they'll summon his soul, or some bullcrap like this.
Move quickly when you're moving his bones, like something like that.
Exactly.
But they didn't.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, Durban. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh, here we go. This fight I liked, though, even though they don't explain this Freddy thing, but the dad fighting Freddy like that.
Didn't last long.
It didn't last long, but, you know, there was that emotion, you know, like, I got you once before. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And he probably could have held out longer if he just didn't do that last shot before he left the bar.
So that's the one part of this fight I don't like, because they did not do that good. You could see that the dude is not being touched by Freddy hitting him with the shovel, and he's reacting.
Give him a break, Durban.
I'm trying to give him a break. I'm trying.
See, what the hell was that?
That's what, there you go.
That primal roar.
And then he just leaves. It's like a Bond villain. No, finish off the good guy, and then go finish your nefarious plan.
I wish I had no bones. That was a Family Guy joke. Sorry.
I haven't watched Family Guy in so long.
This is a cool shot.
I agree.
I do like this concept.
And I love the concept of that kid finding his voice in the dream world here.
But like,
that was cool.
Yeah, being in this literal house of mirrors, and he can pull you into different dimensions through different mirrors. I love that.
Yeah.
This is almost like a Doctor Strange thing. You know,
yes.
Just instead of the swirly, sparkly thing, it's mirrors.
Yep, there you go.
Freddy Krueger, the original Doctor Strange, cinematically speaking.
And it's weird how the mirrors give Freddy this ability to be omnipresent.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he's like grabbing 3 people at the same time.
Yeah. And here comes one of my worst dislikes of this movie.
Ooh.
Nothing about Nancy's next reaction for the next few minutes makes sense.
Yes, where she thinks that Freddy's actually defeated and she's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes no sense. And I
She's like,
thought
"Oh
the
my
same
god, thank goodness you screamed really loudly."
like, when I saw the ghost of her father, I went, "That better be Freddy or this is a terrible ending."
Could you imagine if that's how they ended this movie?
Yeah.
Dad, hey kiddo, I'm
But,
off to a better place. Roll credits.
according to the laws of the first movie, this really should be the end, right? Because haven't all these characters figured out how not to fear Freddy?
But they didn't. They just
I
don't
guess
fear him because he disappeared suddenly. They
that's
didn't
true.
they didn't lose fear in him. Somebody just shoot him away for a moment.
I'm so glad
Oh,
this is Freddy. I can't tell you how glad I am because that just would have been such a horrible ending. And she should be sadder. Her dad is dead.
oh. Okay, but that scream is epic. She
Yeah.
earned her scream queen
Yeah,
status right
she
there.
did. And that's a good death for a character like her, who was such a big part of the first one, should have been of the
Yeah.
second one.
What a missed opportunity for Kristen here.
Yeah, I know. She could have like
Like,
backflipped him and
well,
broke
no,
his
no.
neck.
I don't mean for her stupid powers. I meant for her good ones. Like,
Oh yeah, to pull him somewhere else.
why couldn't she easily pull him out of the dream world as easily as she pulls people into it? That would have been a
Oh
perfect
yeah.
parallel.
Oh, dude. Like when he pulled her through the mirror, she could have like been pretending, and that could have been her way of fooling him and pulling him into the wake world. Oh my god.
Right. Exactly.
Wow, Steve. Why aren't we writing these movies and remaking them?
I think we missed the remake train, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dune just did come out, so. Oh, Freddy's true weakness. He's allergic to alcohol.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not the holy water. It's
I think the guy was facing the cross the wrong way. I think you want Jesus on the cross to be facing Freddy and not facing the dude, and it was facing the dude.
Oh, now you want to use your dream powers. Okay,
Oh,
Kristen.
but you know what? I get it. Kristen was having her weakness to the dream power, right? Because she's sedated. And that was the whole point. She couldn't pull people anywhere or pull them out because she was under sedation.
But she wasn't, was she?
Yeah, they sedated her and then threw her in the alone room.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Still,
See, I can make fun of something and then find logic in it 2 seconds later.
oh, but Weenie made out alive. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. What a missed opportunity. It wasn't the other doctor and the other doctor having a far more interesting character arc.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Dr. Weenie should not have been in this at all.
No.
Dr. Skeptic should have been that part.
Yes.
I really enjoy creating names for characters' names I can't remember.
I do it all the time. Random names pop up in my head when I can't remember the name. Yeah, as soon as he saw this tombstone, I'd like to say what an amazing twist, but saw it coming a mile away.
I think they wanted you to see it coming a mile away. They're just giving.
Yeah,
They're like,
confirmation.
yeah, your confirmation. Exactly. Oh, did he keep the house?
Yeah, you did. And in this final scene, that's where we see the old house light turn on.
I've seen this movie 1,000 times. I don't think I've ever realized he was the one sleeping in that bed.
Oh yeah, and then he kept the girl's dream catcher doll thingy, and then there's the house.
Too bad none of the Kristen or none of these people come back. Oh, yep. Perfect timing, Cody. As soon as you wrote Dream Warriors, where the ending credits with Dream Warriors showed up.
Yes.
Perfect timing, dude.
So, Cody Leach, since you're here, I have now seen the first 3 Freddy Krueger movies. Have I made you proud? I'm 3 in.
I'm sure he's happy for you just like I am.
Cody Leach says, I'm good like that. Yes, right at the right moment.
All right. Well, there you go, Durban. So, your thoughts of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. One of my favorite movies, horrors of all time.
Yeah.
Because more nostalgic train all the freaking way here. But be honest, what'd you do?
So, having no nostalgia connected to Freddy, I'm back and forth. I'm proud but not satisfied until you suffer through the next 3. You are not worthy. All right. All right. All right, Cody. I can do that.
Well, let's do another watch party. Cody, you can join us.
There we go. Yes, and we'll go through all of that.
And I well, at least for the next one, he can skip the Freddy's Dead one. I know how much he's tired of that shit show.
But having no nostalgia, it's weird because I want to like the third one better. Because what I like better about the third one is the opportunity to dive into more characters. This idea of the dark versus the light, like it was so interesting, bringing in the nun turning out to be Freddy's mother, and so introducing this concept of how to really put an in. So, and then they all have these abilities and their dreams. So this idea of dream warriors, I thought was pretty cool. But I think I like the first one the best because it's the most consistent. Like it establishes the lore and it stays very consistent with the lore. The second one is just a mess and breaks everything and doesn't exist in my opinion.
Right.
But the third one stayed with the lore until the end. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. A lot of people agree with you on that aspect. You know, the second one is kind of a throwaway. I defend it in the sense that I think it needs a decent remake.
It does.
To establish that lore.
Is interesting. I like the premise, but like you said in one of our earlier texts, the execution was awful and it breaks the lore.
And so like when it comes in comparison to the first and third movie, I will always flip-flop which one is my favorite. But if I had to put one like on a document, you know, sign here, this is your answer forever, you know, legally, I would have to say Dream Warriors, simply because as much as I love the first one and how unique it is and its creepiness, the third one really established who Freddy is going forward in the franchise. You know, you get
especially that comedy bit, apparently.
Well, yeah, and I think the fourth one, it plays on the comedy side a little bit more, but like it's still subdued compared to the future of the franchise. But it's just a nice balance of Freddy mythology compared to where it went later.
Right.
But the third one, again, for me, that nostalgic train. I mean, watching this movie because my parents didn't know I was watching it at 2 a.m. on our VHS. You know, like I always had this respectful fear of Freddy Krueger. I've always I think even as a kid, I wanted to like befriend him because I was so scared of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like every time I
watch
watch
episode of Rick and Morty where they did a copyright safe ripoff of Freddy Krueger and they did befriend him in the dream world.
Oh, what was his name? Oh, what is his name?
Oh, I can't even remember what his name was, but it's one of those episodes of that show that just cracks me up, which it cracks me up even more now.
And he kept calling everyone bitch. Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna bother me what his name is. I know. Hopefully, somebody, if you know what that Freddy Krueger knockoff on Rick and Morty's name is, please let us know in the comments, just so I don't go insane. But yeah, this third one, man, I'm so glad you decided to watch it with me because number one, I've been trying to get you to watch these movies for a long time.
Yeah,
Cody Leach helped by pushing you in the right direction of watching the first one. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining me in watching this, my favorite of the franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Now, if you ask my son, he prefers New Nightmare.
Which one is that one?
That's the one where they kind of, it's like a fourth dimensional take on the character. They bring
but
Nancy
how many
back.
Movies in is it?
I think it's the 6th or 7th. It's the one after Freddy's Dead. I can't remember what number Freddy's Dead is, but it's where they kind of reboot it in a sense that in the movie they're making a Freddy movie with all the actors.
Oh, no way.
And then 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 it starts
meta.
happening to them in real. Yeah, it's very meta.
Okay.
So yeah, just know that. But yeah, this movie means the world to me, and thank you for joining me on
Yes.
this. We need to do another live watch party soon.
Yeah, we do.
I think Laura put a I put a little Scary Terry.
Scary
That's it.
Terry.
Scary Terry.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Laura. I was just telling your husband here that I put that meme in the movies and entertainment talk on Facebook that of all these 4 different movies. I think it was like Demolition Man. Oh geez, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, I remember that Demolition Man. Oh man, now I can't remember the others.
Right, yeah. It's a Demolition Man.
Can't remember.
Time Cop.
Yeah. Oh, Fifth Element.
Fifth Element, and some other
Whatever.
movie.
Time Cop is the one to get rid of forever.
Right. But she goes, these are the movies you should be doing live watch parties with. And I'm like, you know what, Laura? You're absolutely right. Demolition Man is the next one I want to do.
Then let's do. I love Demolition Man. And,
and I would love to bring Al Seward on here because apparently he hates that freaking movie.
Does he really? Here's a perfect combination. I don't know how we could do this. My brother-in-law loves Demolition Man. Like, I mean, loves it. Like, absolutely loves it. So to have Al on here who doesn't love it and have my brother-in-law on here who does would be hilarious.
Well, yeah. I mean, I absolutely love it too. So like, that dynamic between
I love it too. It's a
Al
great
and I. Oh, what we need one more person who doesn't love it.
That's true.
So we can have 2 on 2. You know, and then
that's
we
a
can.
Great idea. Chandler Langley doesn't seem to like a lot of movies. Chandler, if you're still watching, do you like or dislike Demolition Man? If you truly dislike it, you need to be part of that watch party. You can be Team Al while we're Team Demolition Man.
I can see Chandler going, I haven't seen it, but I don't like it already. We're just messing with you, Chandler. But don't forget, when we had him on here for the Fifth Element live watch party, he loved it.
Yeah, he did. I just feel bad for him that the watch party was literally his first time watching it, and we're talking over it.
Well, yeah, because it's like he's sitting there watching it, and like he's like, "What? Sorry." I'm just like really into this, you know. Like, so that was awesome, man. All right,
yeah.
As promised, first of all, again, Durban, thank you for joining me. If you haven't yet, and you want to follow Durban, all of his info is in the description below. He runs that channel, DURBANIA. You can find him on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube, and that's all in the description below. But as I promised, I did a murder montage. And did I forget to upload it?
Oh no. That's okay. We'll just talk until you have it uploaded. That's what we'll do. We'll just keep everybody entertained until it's there.
No, I could have sworn I put it up here this morning. Durban, tell him your favorite joke.
Oh no, my favorite joke. I don't have
good one.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
No, everyone hold tight. It's not going to take long. I put together a murder montage for this, so I really want you guys to watch it.
Laura is making noise in the other room, and I don't know what is going on.
Laura, what are you doing?
Laura, what are you reacting to? Oh, she's 10 seconds delayed. So she's laughing at something we did 10 seconds ago.
Is that how long the delay is for these things?
I don't know. I think it depends on the device you're on. So, Laura's device apparently has her 10 seconds behind.
All right. It's loading up. It's coming up. The murder montage will be coming. And that's how we're going to exit out of this live stream.
We're having an epic exit. So,
yes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's, kind of like the dead meat kill count. It's the murder montage. It will go through all the murders.
Did you throw any Scary Terry kills in there?
No. No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
Man, I really thought I had
because of you, I want to leave and watch Indiana Jones and Rick and Morty. What a great combination.
Oh, I got my Indiana Jones hat and whip.
Oh, nice. My Indiana Jones hat is right above me, but you can't see it. It's right off screen, but it's right over there.
There's
and my whip
Jones hat.
it's not in this room anymore. But
well, this is a real whip used by my uncle in World War II.
Whoa. So that's not just an Indiana Jones whip. That is a real awesome whip.
It's a straight up legit whip.
Yeah,
It's
there
my
you go.
legit whip.
I love it.
All right, it should be loading up here. Come on now. Oh,
Yeah.
it's ready.
Just so you watch and know, when you upload a video onto StreamYard, it's kind of unpredictable how long or short of a process it's going to be.
But it's ready, Freddy.
Oh,
all right,
do this.
So we're gonna play this, and that will, after this is over, that will be the end of the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Durban, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the movie just as much as I did, and I hope you all enjoyed our commentary. Stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.